All right. I'm Will Smith. Welcome to the first episode of the Millionaire Mentor Mindset podcast. We're going to be bringing you the ABCs of building and scaling your business with intentions over emotions. Tonight, we have an amazing guest, which happens to be my brother, Shan Smith of GSA Good Sense Automation. And what we're going to be talking about are two very important things that you must have in order to be successful in business. And that is passion, and you must also have accountability in order to move forward in life. So real quick, Shan, if you would tell us something about, where you came from before GSA.
So before GSA, I was an employee. I worked as a technician, worked for a company, did that for about 7 years, made decent money to pay my bills, take care of my family. But if I wanted more, I wanted a more interesting life. So I went back to school, got some more education, and once again, went out to work as an employee, taught at a college for a while, and then went out as a integrator and worked with several teams. And was getting the financial fulfillment in some ways, but the culture still wasn't the way I wanted to work and live every day. Um, so I decided that it was time to go and get off the pot. So I'm gonna rewind just for a minute, because actually I had started the LLC about 5 years before I really got active. Went and got LLC when they had flyers made. I was really hyped, really ready to go. And then when it didn't really take off in the first month, I just did what I already knew, went back and got a job. So that's what
Wow.
I did.
So you was comfortable.
Hey, look, it's hard to step away from a paycheck. You know, you can go to work, goof off, play games, tell jokes, be at the water cooler for an hour, and that check's still gonna come unless you just really mess up. When you're an entrepreneur, you gotta hunt. You gotta kill. It's not you're not gonna eat. It's a different world. And a lot of people aren't really willing to step into that world, but it is rewarding, and it gives you some things that a job can't give you. And for a lot of you men, you out here be an entrepreneur, you might get your testosterone back. Real talk.
So, something I heard you say reminded me of what one of my mentors said the other day. He said, certainty is basically it brings a surety, basically. So you're being comfortable initially with that job. In part of your mindset at the time, you had certainty of that job, which gave you a certain type of a surety. So you easily went back down that road to a job. Um, I heard you say something about culture. You didn't really sync with the culture you were in. Tell me something about the culture of GSA versus the culture of where you were.
The culture of GSA, for one, there's autonomy, uh, and anybody I work with, I don't or choose to work with me. There's always a line of respect. Didn't always see that work for other integrators within this space, but also working in automotive. The automotive industry is a very aggressive environment. So, for example, if you worked at a marshmallow factory and someone destroyed a marshmallow, no one's going to be mad. They'll throw it in the trash can. However, when you're making $120,000 automobiles, if something happens, it's a pretty big deal. So
Right.
you have to be able to work in you're in an environment of gladiators when it comes to the automotive industry. I'm telling you, and any other automotive engineer that knows this, that works in automation and automotive manufacturing, it's a tough environment. And you gotta be able to, as they say, stand on business to work in it. That doesn't mean being a tough guy, but being a knowledgeable guy, knowing how to work with people, knowing how to plan, work through difficult situations. But we do it as a team. Anybody that works with JSA as a team. We're a small company. You have to be willing to learn, willing to adapt, willing to unlearn sometimes, and also always adapt to new technologies.
Okay. So basically, what I'm hearing you saying is, as this episode is based on passion and accountability, that you have to have a very high level of accountability which involves persistence. It also involves taking responsibility, and it also involves bettering yourself to accomplish something that's productive in the future. So, as far as when it comes to accountability, what would you say to a up and coming entrepreneur today?
The main person that they need to hold accountable is themselves. And one way you can do that, a simple tool is get you a small notebook and write in that notebook about 6 to 7 things, let's say 8 things you want to do a day. Maybe 4 things you want to accomplish in business, 4 things you want to accomplish in your personal life. And everything you do within that day is aligned with those goals for that day. Watch, rinse, and repeat. Do it daily.
Okay.
And once you look back over 365, you will have accomplished something.
Okay. Okay. So that work and those goals are going to compound. I like that. So when it comes to passion, I look at passion myself as, let's take one of the businesses that I'm involved in, real estate. Let's take another, moving. We'll run with moving right now.
Okay.
It's the cold season coming in. Not cold as in being sick, but cold as in it's getting chilly outside. Past couple of days, it's been dropping down to like 54 degrees. You got wind chill, it might be 50 degrees. Okay. So with passion, I say to the entrepreneur that thinks he's an entrepreneur or thinks he wants to become an entrepreneur, he or she, passion, if you wake up in the morning and it's 50 degrees, 42 degrees with a wind chill, you got to be able to push through with enough passion. You have to have enough passion to push through. You
I
can't
agree with that passion. But I'm gonna say they better have some grit too.
definitely got to have some grit. Um and long term, say it's 40 degrees outside. First of all, you may have a job an hour away. It's cold outside. You got to have that passion to get up and do that consistently day after day after day. It definitely takes some grit as well. Um, but as far as the passion is concerned, if you don't have passion, the the grit will get you through, and the passion I think is going to hit from a different angle in a I don't really have the word for it, but the passion is kind of like if your child per se needed something, you're going to have a passion for your child. The grit, I think of playing sports having the grit. If you are on the football field and you got to get hit over and over physically, whereas your job more is mental. See, so I can see how the passion and the grit kind of intermingles, but the passion is like you have a passion for your child. It might not necessarily take you getting hit by a 245-pound linebacker. So on the field,
Okay.
absolutely. You and I both played some sports. You got to have that grit on the field. The passion long term, and you have to have both long term. I mean, if you're playing football or sports, you got to have that grit to get out there and do that. And maybe we'll use that for another episode. Matter of fact, that'll be
Okay.
one of our
Okay.
letters.
Right.
Because here's the thing: that's the reason we came up with the ABCs of building and scaling your business. Because some people they won't be able to unintertwine them and look at it compartmentally, because you have to have both. You definitely have to have the grit. If you stump your toe, you gotta have the grit. If you
Right.
don't have
Right.
on your steel toe shoes and a dresser hits your toe, you gotta have
Right.
that grit to keep going.
Right.
Whereas the passion I look at as more, you got passion for your family, you got passion for your mom and your little sister or whatever, and that grit. Uh, Back to like playing football, where if you got to get hit by that linebacker, then you got to get up and have the grit to move forward. So, you know, what are some things that you've seen or lack of? Would you say that there's a lack of passion in the work environment these days?
Well, that's well, I say a lack of passion, a lack of gratitude as well for the opportunity that you have. I don't think any of us are meant to do the same thing all our lives the same way. So uh I'll say that and maybe the accountability as well. But it's definitely different from what I've seen recently.
Okay. All right. So, part of the Millionaire Mentor Mindset podcast, we want to, our goal and ambition is to encourage the entrepreneur
Mhm.
to get going. If they're stuck, get unstuck and go to their next step so that they can go to that next level in life. How would you encourage an up and coming entrepreneur that, maybe they just got their EIN and LLC, and maybe they are in a situation where their car just broke down, they had to pay for that, but the next step is making their down payment on their insurance. How would you encourage them to push through and make that happen and things are tight?
Wow, I've been there. One thing I would say is that helped me is being getting around other entrepreneurs, having conversation with you as an entrepreneur. And I do not want this to sound condescending. I'm going to say it again. Dr. Umar said it 3 times. I do not want this to sound condescending. It's hard for a person with a job to relate to a person who's running a business. For the ladies out there, if your husband is a business owner, you probably rather you have a gambling problem or something because he's gonna be tied up. So it really is tough. But that's what I would say.
So it's going to take a lot for them to push through.
It'll take a lot. And then also, I would say one more thing about when you said things are tight. You said tight financially. I've been there. I've been in a situation where I get paid, pay all my bills, and and the student at the same time, and have $20 to make it to the next paycheck. That's 7 days. And in today's time, that's not even a tank of gas. But I
Right.
figured out how to stretch that $20 over that week and get done and come back and fight again the next day to keep building towards something.
Okay. All right. So passion and accountability, that's what we encourage everyone to make sure you have before you entertain going into any type of business. I would say that to that entrepreneur, to that person who's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, do not press forward if you don't have the passion and if you don't have the internal accountability, because you're going to end up wasting your time and wasting the time of other people, and you cannot get that time back. um
Can I ask a question?
yeah.
Do you think that people are programmed to be an employee versus being an entrepreneur? And maybe that's what people struggle with mentally is the programming from what they were programmed to be. I believe we were guided in a way in our era, go to school, get an education, get a good job. Not the message was not to be a business owner. Are people still programmed into that mindset?
You know what, we're going to talk about programming on another episode. I'm glad you said that. um because before we close out, I am going to bring up PT and
PT far.
PT just, you guys remember that acronym. We're gonna definitely talk about PT on a different episode. But other than that, we're gonna get out of here. And thank you guys for tuning in. Share the episode. It's all about passion and accountability. Thank you, Shan, for coming on representing GSA to the fullest.
Well, hope you have me back. Hope I didn't do too bad.
Definitely will have you back sooner than you think. So
Okay.
I'm gonna get out of here. But anything on passion and accountability for that up and coming entrepreneur?
Well, I will say, um, you may not be passionate every day, So you will be successful based on your habits. What habits do you set for your business? What times your alarm clock go off if you need one? I need one, goes off at 5:30 every day. Consistency.
Consistency. Thank you very much, Shan. I heard someone once say that consistency wins every time.